Hello, hello, hello. When you jump in, say hello. Let me know if you're watching this live or on the replay. And I am so excited to continue to bring content to you to help you unlock and unleash that wildly unapologetic version of you that has always been there. And one of the things that has come up to me a lot in my own journey with my clients in my coaching sessions is the fear and the desire to belong, right? And so how many times have we been in situations we've stepped into rooms and we didn't belong? And this is something that is so important because if we feel like we don't belong, okay, Google, turn it down. If we're in a room, if we're in a space and we feel like we don't belong, what happens? We cower down. We filter ourselves. We don't speak at all, right? Or we're trying to people please and agree and not speak our truth. I'm very familiar with this because growing up for me, it was the opposite of standing out. It was the exact opposite. As a woman of color, I did desperately wanted to fit in. When I was young, I remember my first moment of experiencing the classroom, of experiencing school, was when I walked into class feeling great, excited, wanting to connect with people. And the teacher could not pronounce my name. She could not say Indrani. So she stumbled over my name and then she stumbled over my last name, was a very long one. And she said, she looked at me and my cheeks were literally red and all the kids were looking at me and pointing at me. And that was the first time I realized that I was different because everyone else in the room was fair skinned. Everyone else in the room was white. Everyone else in the room had the name that they could pronounce, the Karen, Samantha, or Heather. And that was the first moment I realized that I didn't feel safe in this space. I didn't want to stand out. I just wanted to fit in. So as soon as she asked me for a nickname, the first name that sputtered out of me was Annie. Call me Annie. And that nickname stayed with me until I was 29 years old. I carried it through middle school. When we transferred from Pennsylvania to California, I used it through high school. I used it through college. I used it in my first corporate job. Everybody knew me as Annie. And little fun fact, my friend at the time in high school, which is now my second husband, I met him in college. His name's Michael. He was the only person that would not call me Annie. He would call me Indrani. And now we're married and I embrace my name and it's amazing. But until the age of 29, even though I hated the name Annie, especially when that movie came out, Annie, Orphan Annie, and she had the fro and the freckles and like so different than me, I did not like my nickname at all, but it was better and safer than my birth name. So let me know what parts of that story resonates with you. Did you have something that made you feel like an outsider? Did you have something that made you feel that you didn't fit in? And when we experience this as a child, it's traumatic. You know, we want to fit in. We want to be seen. We want to be acknowledged. We want to feel safe in our spaces. And when we have these things happen to us, not only do we not want to fit in, we just want to blend into the background. Like I wanted to be part of the wall or the wallpaper. And it translated all throughout my journey. I remember in college, I went to Arizona State, and if I was ever late to class, even if it was like a minute late, I would not walk into the lecture hall. Instead, I would sit my ass outside in the heat, waiting for the bell to go off and for everyone to come out, and then being able to muster enough courage to ask someone for their notes. Why did I do that? Because I was terrified of opening the door, cracking the door open, and having everyone turn and look at me. It was just like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. So fuck that. I'm going to just wait outside and I'm going to be the person who's going to ask somebody for notes, and then I'll go make a copy and give it back to them. So if you've had this feeling of like, I don't belong in a room, I don't belong in a space, whether it is in corporate America, right? In your job. I had so many meetings where I was around so many people and I didn't feel comfortable to raise my hand. I didn't feel comfortable to share my opinion. Why? Because it didn't feel safe to have all eyes on me. I have been a victim of racism and bullying and the experience of not belonging and not fitting in. It was not safe for me to stand out. I didn't feel comfortable. I'd rather blend in and be a people pleaser and not share my opinion, to be cast out, or share my opinion and have people not agree with it and be cast out. It was safer for me to suppress my desires, to suppress who I was and become something else. So let me know. Put a comment in, whether you're watching live or on the replay, if you feel the same way, and just type in chameleon. If you felt like it was safer for you to turn into something else, to be able to morph into something else because it was not safe for you to be you. And the way that I grew up in Pennsylvania in the suburbs, I was like the only Indian kid of 2 Indian kids in school. And the other one had a really nasty nickname. And I had a different name. I had dark skin. I was very different than everyone else. And it was one of those things that I remember I would wish on every star to be someone else. I wish that I could trade places and just be like a Karen, a Heather, a Samantha. I mean, now no one wants to be a Karen, but back then I wanted to be a Karen because I felt safer. It felt like I would belong. It felt like I would be accepted. It felt like I would have the friends. So I was always in that state. Now, fast forward now that my business is completely on video, I'm on video right now. I've done live streams. I've gotten like 1 million hearts on Periscope. I've done live streams and online workshops and programs for women all over the world. I've gone back to corporate America and I've done workshops for Toyota, Honda, for their management, for their leaders. In my job in corporate America, I was at Toyota headquarters for 16 years, which is really, really cool and unheard of. I have a pension, which is so dope. A lot of the new generation, my 17-year-old doesn't even know what a pension is, but I have a pension, which is really cool. And it ages me and I'm okay with that. So at Toyota, I would lead mentoring events for 3,000 people. I would lead panel discussions. I would be working with the group vice presidents of every single division on their diversity inclusion plan. I would be presenting in front of thousands of people. I've been on TV shows. I've been just in so many positions. I've been on stage with other celebrity stars I love that Freudian slip, with the celebrity stars that I would watch on TV all the time. And while I was so nervous in a lot of those positions, I was able to step into that and find ways to belong in the rooms because I was tired of not fitting in. I was tired of not speaking my truth. I was tired of suppressing my ideas, my desires. I was done with being me in that version. So how did I do this? Okay, I'm going to dive right in. I'm going to share with you 4 pivotal things that you can start doing now to be able to feel like you fit into the room. Whether you have a 9-to-5 job, being able to speak your truth, ask for your opinion. My clients that are in the EA leadership program, I have a client that never asked for a raise, never got a raise in like over 10 years in the job that she was working with. It's like a startup company. And as we've went through her process and she set up a plan of what she wanted, which was a raise, we're able to, in her hot seat coaching, have a call, have the framework for her. She set up the meeting. She led the conversation. She asked for what she wanted. And in her next paycheck, she got 100% raise, double her salary. So it is absolutely possible. And she was terrified. She's like, I've never asked for a raise. This is very uncomfortable for me. But when we feel that we belong in every room, she was able to lead the conversation. She was able to be in her power. She was able to be charismatic as fuck. She was able to bring the evidence of why she was worth this, and she got it right away. So the first thing is to be dripping in your confidence, owning your worthiness, knowing your superpowers. When you have the confidence, you no longer worry about what other people think. You no longer need to have them validate you, for them to be like, oh my gosh, yes, you're accepted, you fit in, come talk to us. You no longer have to wait for people to accept you and wait for people to bring you in so you can finally belong, because you have found home and belonging within yourself. And when we're able to do that, we are magnetic, we are vibrant, we're in our power, we're in this beautiful energy where have you seen somebody walk into the room and you're just like, all of a sudden, like you stop and you stare, you're like, who is this person? They're just taking up space. They like fill the room with light, right? That type of energy, that type of persona is available to all of us. It's about unlocking it. We all have that within. So let me know if you were dripping in confidence, if you're able to own your worthiness, if you're able to know your superpowers and be able to operate from that, do you feel like you would belong more? Do you feel more comfortable to be able to speak your truth, to be able to contribute to those conversations, be able to be in those rooms, be in those programs, be able to speak your truth, ask for what you want and get it? Let me know. And if it's yes, say, hell yes. If I had that level of confidence, if I knew what my superpowers were, if I knew my unique USP, right? Your unique special positioning, and I was able to operate from that, if I was able to validate myself, how would that feel in stepping into the rooms, being able to come online, to be able to share our purpose, our passion, our mission with alignment with our values, with our desires? To be able to feel safe for asking for what we want, being able to have the confidence to do that. The second thing is getting into state, right? Getting into the outcome of what it is that you want. A lot of the times when we're in the rooms, or this morning I did a 7 a.m. Podcast interview, and it was early. I set the alarm for 6:40. I rolled out of bed at 6:50. And I got into state and I felt amazing. And we had the most incredible, magnetic, powerful conversation of women as they're aging on how you can have even more passion and even more sex and sensuality and connection and intimacy as you age, right? I was able to have this incredible conversation with someone and there was no fear there. And how did I do that? I use one of the tools that I teach in the EA method, which is the pleasure tripping tool. And basically what it is you're getting into the outcome of what it is that you want. Why are you there, right? What was the purpose of it? What do you want to feel? What do you want to experience? What do you want to share? What do you want to walk away with? When you walk away from this moment in time, whether it's like a simple dinner with someone, whether it's a lunch, whether it's showing up on social media, whether it's having this conversation, really getting to the state and getting to the outcome of what it is that you want is so powerful, because then we get focused in on that end goal, that end result. And that's so powerful for being safe to belong and having powerful communication. So we use in that, like me and all my EA women, we use this simple pleasure tripping tool to get into the vortex of our desires in minutes. And then when we step into the room, whether it's a physical room, whether it's in walking into the restaurant, walking into that party, that, for me, I've had a lot of social anxiety. So for me to walk into that party and be able to own the room without any ego attached to it, I never thought that I could create that. But when you're able to get into state and get into that end result that you want, you step into that version of you that not only belongs, but encapsulates the room. And then number 3 is to connect powerfully, right? Being able to have the emotional mastery and communication tools to be able to create deep rapport with people, connect with people, have them feel heard, have them feel seen, be able to connect with your values and be able to open to somebody in ways that feel good, ways that feel safe, ways that is very reciprocal. And it is so powerful. It takes work, right? And for me, I was an introvert. I had speech impediment growing up. I didn't have a lot of social interaction. So I was just like a social nightmare. Like was not comfortable for me at all. And actually this last Easter that just happened a couple weeks ago, my younger brother was in town, 3 years younger than me, such an amazing, amazing person. And we were having a conversation, and we were at Easter at one of my friends' homes. And during the conversation, he was shocked to hear that I had social anxiety. And as I started explaining to him, he's like, oh my gosh, I totally get that. Right. But I had to fake it. I had to pretend that I didn't have it. Now it's so different. Not that I used to drink alcohol to move through those social situations. I didn't even realize it was a crutch. Right. But now I'm able to get into state. I'm able to own it. I'm able to have the confidence and then be able to get into the desires of how do I want to feel when I think back into that event, back into that situation. How would it feel if people remembered you years after the connection that you made with them, years after the speech, years after the live stream, years after that conversation, they're still able to remember you because of the impact that you made. And that happens to me all the time. It's incredible. They're like, I've been following you for years and this is incredible. Or, oh my gosh, I remember you. I now live close to where I grew up. I remember you. I remember you at Toyota. And that was like 10 years ago. I remember you. So being able to have that lasting impression on someone because you are magnetic, not because you're the crazy drunk girl who, when Girls Gone Wild, but you're able to connect with someone deeply is so powerful. And that's how we start feeling like we belong and we're able to shine our light and feel safe to speak our truth in the rooms that we want to be in, and even getting ourselves into those types of rooms. The last thing I want to share with you is being able to stay in your frequency. And this is so powerful, being able to stay in the state of your desires, because it's great for you to, do the work. Is kind of like meditation, right? If you have a meditation practice and you do it every day and you feel like as soon as you wake up or right when you go to bed, you feel really relaxed, you feel, in alignment, right? 10 minutes and you're like, oh, this is great. And then you go back to the rest of the world, which is 23 hours and 50 minutes. And the world is crazy. You're up and down and you're stressed out and you're frustrated and you've got all these emotions and you're repressing them, or so you don't feel disappointment, or you are unleashing, you're in all these different patterns and all these things that catch you up and keep you stuck where you don't want to be. When you have a big goal, you have big dreams and desires, the meditation for those 10 minutes is great, but it's about staying in that frequency of what it is that we want. Anyone can get into it, and that can be a process too. But getting into it isn't the end result. It's about staying into the frequency, and not just staying into it, about focusing and being aware of your thoughts, your emotions, your body. What is it telling you? When you notice that you're out of state, taking a pause, hitting the bathroom, taking a little break, and using one of the emotional mastery tools. In the EM method, there's 8 different emotional mastery tools that you learn where you can pull it out and you can literally process through that thought, emotion, body, feeling, and process it within minutes. So you can get back into the state of your desires, get back into your power, get back into your charisma, and be the magnetic version of you that is unforgettable and in demand to connect with. And that is how you are able to belong in any room, belong in any space, belong in any relationship. For me, in my relationship, let me know, first of all, which one of these are most resonant with you. You're like, oh my gosh, you know what? I'm noticing that this one, if I was able to do this step, it would really catapult me in feeling like I belong and owning myself as a wildly unapologetic woman. Is it dripping in confidence? Is it getting into state? Is it connecting powerfully? Or is it staying in your frequency? Let me know. Drop which one is resonating with you the most. And the thing is this takes practice, right? It's not like a one and done thing. I feel like Amazon has been incredible, and Amazon has been absolutely crazy for us because we now want everything like yesterday, right? Like we wanted it the moment before we even thought of the idea. So these quick fixes or these things where it's like, oh my gosh, just tell me that one thing that I'm missing so then I can have everything that I want. It doesn't work that way. And if it does work that way, and it has worked that way for me. But the difference is when we get it that way and we get it and it's so easy, like Tupac says, we don't want it. We don't appreciate it. It doesn't fulfill us. You know, there's been times in my life where I checked everything off the box. I was a good girl and I worked hard and I worked my ass off and I didn't feel the way that I wanted to feel. Right? So us doing this work and doing it with alignment, doing it with integrity and not bypassing and just trying to put mantras and affirmations on top of our fears, or not looking at the foundation that we're creating and making sure it is built on stability, on values, on our vision and not our fears, because those foundations will crumble. They may sustain for a while, but if we are building something based on our wounds from the past or from pain or from struggle, it's going to be really hard to keep those structures going. So if you're able to do these 4 steps and step into this, it changes everything. So this is what we're going to be doing in the newest program that I have launching. I'm so fucking excited about it. It is the Wildly Unapologetic Woman, Get What You Want. And in this program, it's going to be incredible. We're going to go through these different things. We have modules that we're going to go through, and the modules are going to be powerful, simple, and practical as fuck for you to get the results that you want, for you to hold this frequency, for you to be able to do the work the quickest way possible. And there's also going to be recorded activations for you to continue to program yourself and rewire yourself to step into that version of you that already exists, that wildly unapologetic woman that feels safe to speak her truth, that owns her confidence, that is dripping in her worthiness, that knows her superpowers and is not only not scared to use them, but excited to use them. You're able to have that courage and take those action steps, even with the things that freak you the fuck out. As a very successful past avoider, so hear what I'm saying, past avoider, I'm reframing my mind. It is so possible for us to do this. It's so possible for us to take those steps towards what it is that we want and cast the vision and set the vision for what it is that we want and make sure that we're taking courageous action in alignment with that in the frequency of possibility instead of in the frequency of our fears, our doubts, and our worries. And then in that place, while we're taking that practical action steps that are in alignment with our desires and the vision that we want, with the frequency of possibility, we become unstoppable. We become that force of nature. We become wildly unapologetic. We're able to handle our emotions like disappointment. So if we do ask for what we want, if we do speak our truth and we are not hurt or honored, or we don't get what we want, we're able to manage those emotions and find ways to give that to ourselves. And when we are able to satisfy ourselves, when we are able to validate ourselves, we don't give a fuck about who else is in the room that we need to validate, that needs to validate us. Instead, we're able to honor everyone, honor their difference, and feel safe to speak our truth without the people-pleasing energy, without the codependency of other people needing to agree with us. And when we are in that energy of wildly unapologetic and speaking our truth, that is where the magic happens. That is where people will come and have conversations with us. That is when we are going to inspire and impact other people and be able to be magnetic and stand out in our superpowers. And that's where the people, the events, and the opportunities that are in alignment with the vision and the desires that you have fall into place. And as we continue to take courageous action and we hold the vibration and we are so laser focused on our vision, and we know how to work through all of the resistance, all the cock blocks in the way, that is when we become unstoppable. So this is what we're going to be doing in the Wildly Unapologetic Woman. It is $1,111 in the full investment. There are payment plans, but now it's $333 for a limited time. The branding and the details have not come out yet. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I want to do this, I'm really interested in it, you get lifetime access to it. There's going to be at least 4 different modules. We're going to have some live Q&A calls with it, as well as recordings. So if you want to jump into this, it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. I am so excited to share this with you. And I really believe that every single woman If they can embody this, our world will change. The impact that we will have to be able to speak our truth, get what it is that we want, fulfill ourselves, be in our power, share our truth and our genius and our superpowers to the world. Imagine how our world would be. Imagine our kids and our community that is watching us, and we're able to take up space and share with others that there's enough space for everyone. Being able to give ourselves permission to shine, and then that gives the permission to everyone else around us to shine. And that is how we heal. That is how we change our future timelines. That is how we heal our past generation and our future generation so they can calibrate to who we are now. And I see this happening with my daughters. My brothers see it happening with my daughters, which is so incredible. They see how I have overcome the hurdles that my mom wasn't able to, that she didn't do in this lifetime yet. And now my kids are calibrating to me, and the things that they're doing is quantum leaping what I was able to do in their amount of time already. So this is so incredible. I'm so excited about this. I want to make it as accessible for everyone as possible. So if you want to jump in, if you're like, oh my gosh, I want to do this. This is fucking amazing. It's calling to me. Go ahead and comment below early bird or send me a DM, and I will give you the link with some bullet points of the program. If you have questions about it, you can. I would love to be able to answer you and support you to make sure that this is a hell yes, because the women that I work with that get the most phenomenal results are the hell yes women, are the women that are like, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm excited to do this. I know that what I want, if I take full responsibility for it, if I have the accountability and I invest in myself and I invest in someone who knows how to do this and embody this for herself, and you're willing to do the work, you're willing to show up, you're willing to schedule the calls in, you're willing to ask questions, you're willing to share it all, it is a guarantee. Your life will change. It's changed for me. It's changed for every single one of my clients when we are ready. Not only to invest the money, but invest our time and be able to share the triggers when they come up, share when it's not working, share the celebrations. And the community that we have built for this in EA and my programs are so sacred and so supportive. So you've got a tribe to do this with. So if you want to do it, send me a DM, and I would love to know, what is your biggest takeaway? What are you going to work on? What is that next action step for you? If you want to join us in the program, we would love to have you. It's going to be fucking revolutionary. The way that I teach is simple, practical. You're going to have custom plans. You're going to have that custom experience to make it yours, as well as being able to be immersed in this new paradigm shift. So let me know if your next step is to join the program, if your next step is focus on your confidence or getting into the state of your desires, being able to like really work on your skills to connect powerfully with others, or being able to stay and hold that frequency of what it is that you want. And I will see your beautiful asses next week for the next micro training. Let me know your biggest takeaway from this. And if there's content that you would like me to riff on, go ahead and DM me and send it to me so that I can continue to create amazing content for you, so you can be that woman that can get what you want without waiting on anyone else. I'll see you next week.